Awesome sauce.
Sweet. Oops.
So now I gotta wait for Michelle to come back. Oh, there she is. She got lost on her wicked which way.
That's right. Oh, wait, it goes this way.
So actually, I think this was also a Dr. Rose topic, and Dr. Rose is not with us today,
I
but
know.
I think it's one of her topics. Can tarot really predict the future? So, okay, the answer is no, and we need to shut down and stop doing the shows.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. It can't predict the future, so why are we even doing these shows? Well, that the answer, bringing to the answer, it's complicated because it's like the tarot does a lot more than predict the future. You know, we use the cards kind of like in coaching and counseling these days. It's more like that. It's almost a gestalt method. So you're laying the cards down and you're asking the client, what are they seeing? What are the symbols, what are the images speak to them? So it's connecting with their subconscious mind. But even if you don't read that way and you just read the cards, maybe you don't even ever show the client the cards. The cards are your tool, they're for you. I used to say that for years. Now I'm like, however you want to do it. But but I used to say, that's why I always said, you don't let the client shuffle the cards. And there's a few reasons for that. One is it's your tool. It's like a professional tool that any handyman would use, or, carpenter, what have you, mechanic, you know, you got to take care of your tool. Have they washed their hands? That was the big one around COVID. It's like 2020, 2021, 2022. Did they wash their hands? Um, these are actually washable. These are made of PVC material, but a lot of decks aren't, and yeah, I guess spray it down with what do they call that? The antiseptic stuff, But do they know how to shuffle cards? You're handing your deck to somebody, you don't even know if they want to do it or know how to shuffle cards. Also, are they going to rifle the deck just like in Vegas, and you cut the deck in half, you rifle them together? Some decks, some people have bought $135, artist, what do they call it? Artist decks. There's a name for that one. It's the artist version. And, they could easily tear them or rip them up, or and have they washed their hands? Like I said, are they going to smear them all up and all these kind of things? But the main thing for me is, here's the real reason. This is an additional reason, but it's actually my main one, is I don't want the client, when we're going into the reading, thinking about shuffling cards. I don't want them thinking about, especially if they haven't shuffled in a while and they're like trying to remember how to shuffle the cards, and how do you do that again, and I know you're probably thinking, most people, you would think, have no problem shuffling cards and they play poker or whatever with their buddies. There are a lot of people that have never touched a deck of cards,
Hmm.
or that haven't played poker for 15 years and haven't shuffled in a decade or two or three, you know. But the main thing is taking their attention. I want them thinking of their question and the reading. I don't want them shuffling the cards. I'll shuffle the cards. I can lay them out, and I can still, for those of you that have to involve the client, if you're doing in-person readings, have them cut the deck, and then you put the other part on top and you start taking your cards off the top, or fan it out and let them pick their cards. That's it's starting to grow on me, but for decades now I've never liked the whole shuffle the deck and fan it out and pick the cards. It's like, you must pick your cards. It's like this whole fortune telling myth thing with the these are your cards and they will show your future if you pick them, which brings us back full circle into Does the tarot predict the future? Short answer, if you go strictly by that sentence, Michelle, no. Because listen to the line, listen to the question. Does tarot predict the future? These are cards, folks, usually cardboard with pictures on them. This is PVC material, so it's waterproof, but they're cardboard. The cards, whether it's an oracle card deck, a tarot deck, and Lenormand deck, the deck is not predicting the future. The real question is, can you predict the future? The images and symbols on the cards are talking to your subconscious mind.
Exactly. See, that's what really got me into
Lenormand.
Lenormand.
I just call them the Lennies for short.
I
It's so
know,
much
right?
easier.
At first, I was like, I'm not so sure I like this, but then I started really studying it,
Mm-hmm.
and I love Marie Anne.
Mm.
And this woman was amazing. She told Napoleon when he was gonna die. Not when, but that he was gonna die and how. He told Napoleon that he was gonna marry Josephine, who was in prison, and then he did. I mean, she predicted some things of the future,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't the cards. It was her
Well,
connection to spirit.
yeah, but the Lenormand is also, really good in the predictive side of using the cards.
Yes.
You know, in
Yes.
fact, I'm taking a little mini course right now on Lenormand minis.
Mm.
Yeah, and I have yet to get my first Lenormand deck ever. I'm probably going to get Ciro Marchetti's.
Oh, yay.
I love that. So I want to get that, and I want to go through this course and see if it speaks to me. I might do tarot, and then also, someone asks a question, pull out some cards and see what I see in the tarot, and then also different aspects of the question, pull out Lenormand cards.
That's what I do. I use
But I'm
my
not sure yet.
Lenormand and then my tarot.
I'm not sure. I keep looking out the window. I'm sorry to distract you folks, but there's
You're
weird
fine.
stuff and trucks going by and things. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm on the quietest street on the planet where, you have one person walk by every 5 hours, maybe,
Oh, goodness.
or a car go by once every, 2 or 3 hours. So it's really weird to see all this stuff going out there. God, I'm going to have to edit this, cut this part out. But so as I said, answering that question the way it's put, short answer, no. Now, can you predict the future using tarot cards? Short answer, yes, possibly. Now, what's really happening is you are connecting to your higher self and the collective consciousness where everything has already happened and has happened, and everything that will happen and what's happening now, everything is happening all at the same time. So all possibilities are there, and you are tapping into your higher self through your subconscious mind. Your mind thinks in symbols, it does not think in language, and it thinks in ideas and symbology. And that's what cards offer us, a connection to our mind. And I say the subconscious mind because that is the bigger part. In reality, we in hypnotherapy, myself and other hypnotists, we use the conscious subconscious as an analogy, but in reality there is no such thing. There is just the mind, and it's just all conscious. It's your focused attention that we tend to label consciousness. It's the 7 plus or minus 2 bits of information we are physically able to process in our brain at any given moment in time. And a way I describe that is I say, and in classrooms sometimes I actually physically do this, where I get a giant beach ball and I have somebody stand at the other side of the room there and hold the beach ball. The beach ball is your mind. And then I stand there with a laser pointer and I'm pointing a laser dot somewhere on the surface of this giant beach ball. So that's your mind and your consciousness and all your memories and everything that's going on in what we used to label the subconscious, but actually it's just your mind. And that laser pointer is where your focus is right now. And that's the only difference between subconscious and conscious. Where's the laser pointer pointing? You know, like right now, if I tell you to close your eyes and pay attention to your breathing, the breath's going in and going out, one breath naturally following another. And then if I say, now shift your attention to your toes on your left foot, they might even wiggle a little bit. Notice the toes in your left foot, on your left foot. Now bring your attention back to your breathing and open your eyes. When I had you focusing on your breathing, your toes and how they felt and what they were doing were totally out of your conscious awareness. That's that where that laser is pointing. That's your focus. Then I moved your focus down your left foot to your toes and back again. So that's what's really going on. And the cards are a focus. In fact, I always say a client and a reader go into a light alpha state, trance, hypnosis, when they're focused on the cards. So this is your connection to your consciousness beyond that focus point, and you're talking in symbols and you're able to gain information. Now, that information doesn't have to be predictive. It could be giving you information that'll allow you to solve a problem, answer a question, move forward. But, you know, we still have that, I don't want to say stigma, but that attachment of fortune telling type readings to tarot, where when people go to tarot readers, often what they're asking for is predictive. Now, when I do a reading with you, I can only do the reading now because there's only ever the now. The future doesn't exist yet. The past is gone. Of course, in the spiritual world, like I mentioned earlier, it's still there. It's all happening at the same time. That's why we have the universe. The construct of the universe is to create linear time so that we can experience things as happening now, that was in the past, and then the future coming up, when it's a falsehood. There's no time. Everything is actually happening all at once. So you're tapping into that to get the information. But we have free will. And as we move forward, we make decisions, choices to go in different directions as we move out from the current moment. So when I'm doing the reading, I'm stuck in the present. I'm stuck in the now. I can only tell you what I see now. That might change in the future. We're only able to give potential outcomes because you haven't made the decisions yet, and you may decide something different, especially because you did have a tarot reading. So, and that leads into something I'll get into next Wednesday about, you know, accuracy in readings and all that kind of stuff. But we're reading in the now on a trajectory from the decisions we made into the the decisions we made in the past, moving into the now, and the trajectory leaving the now going into the future. And if nothing changes, we're seeing a potential outcome. That outcome may come true. Or you may decide you don't want that outcome. And I just gave you the information, the knowledge that allows you to make a different choice or set of choices to avoid that outcome. Now, does that mean my prediction of the outcome is inaccurate? No, not at all. So, are you able to predict the future? It's only anecdotal evidence, but several decades and 10,000 readings later, I have, using the tarot cards, been able to predict outcomes. But again, I'm only predicting outcomes from the now. And it could become a self fulfilling prophecy on one end of things. On the other end of things, you may take that knowledge and decide to make different choices and go in a different direction from that outcome. So that's why I said maybe or sorta you can predict the future.
All right. So Christine, what she said, I don't believe it predicts the future, but I do believe it gives insight to the future. The reading is a snapshot of the current
Current
energy, and the
energy.
person's free will affects the outcome of the reading.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just kind of, that is exactly what you were saying, just summed up so nicely.
Yes.
Um, that is exactly how I feel with what the tarot it is. It's insight into what the future can be because of the outcome being so
Right.
easily moved.
Yeah, and there are scientists now that are talking about we don't actually have free will, that everything that has happened in the past has happened, and everything that is going to happen in the future has already happened. Because again, outside of linear time, in in the quantum field, consciousness, what we call the spiritual realm, everything is all happening at once. There's no time. And so everything that will happen and has happened and is happening now is all there at the same time. So they say we don't have free will. I don't really subscribe to that myself because I've done readings and I've predicted outcomes. It made perfect sense. It was in alignment with their trajectory, and they made decisions and went in a different direction, avoiding that outcome. And I know there's probably some, you know, uh, science speak about how that's really not free will or something like that, but I'm sorry, my anecdotal evidence, I just don't subscribe to that at this point. But I'm open to learning. Yep. So it doesn't matter if it's actually predicting the future. We know the cards don't predict the future. And I'm kind of in the middle on the whole thing with the cards and the card energy, because I do feel it. I do feel sometimes the tarot has its own personality, because I see it coming out and it's not me. It's not my personality. And this came up on a recent show about how you could get muddled readings, muddled answers, because you're asking the wrong questions, or you're asking the same question over and over again. And sometimes the tarot has a snarky, uh, you know, snarky personality, So that is kind of ascribing that the cards themselves have their own energy and so forth. However, having done this for all this time, I know that it's never the cards giving the answers. It's never the cards predicting the future. It's you through your subconscious mind with your higher self through your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your gateway to your higher self. And so that's what's really going on. And it doesn't matter it's still giving you, as Christine put it, it's giving you insights. So there you go.
Yep. Yep.